Whoops. Just checking. Make sure. Hello. I don't know if anybody's out there yet. Again, if you're not able to pop in now, I'll hopefully be able to see you again in a bit, or you'll be able to join me afterwards. Hello, somebody. I'm not quite sure who it is. If you can, would you like to say hello? I'm Trisha, and this is Trisha's Cards and Crafts, and this decoration is one I saw on Flutterby Heidi's YouTube channel. It's Heidi Smith, and I just thought it would be nice. She made it using different papers and different things, so I thought I would do one using some of the papers. Now, when I started this week off showing you what the Oh Holy Night DSP and the Night Divine stamps and dies, I hadn't received my order to show you this speciality DSP. It's called Shining Brightly, and it's 12 by 12 paper, and there's 3 designs in 2 colours. So they've all got foils, and they're all plain. They're white on the back. So they're not double-sided, these, but they've got the beautiful gold foiling on all of them, and 3 of them are navy and 3 of them are very vanilla, and they've all got gold foiling on, as I said. So you've got one sheet with this pattern on, with the leaves and the berries, one sheet with this sort of mosaic design, one with stars on, and then you've got the very vanilla one again with stars on, with the leaves, and where's the other one? Yeah, there's the other mosaic design. So you've got one each of each design in each of the colours, Night of Navy and very vanilla. So I thought, being as I've now received it, maybe you'd like to see something made with this paper as well. So I'm going to use some Night of Navy, and I'm going to use this paper, but we'll be making this decoration, this bauble to go. You can hang it on a tree. It will hold things inside it, so you could put a gift or something inside if you want to. You could put chocolates, and you can hang it on your tree. It's completely up to you. When I saw this one made by Flutterby Heidi, it's all in centimetres rather than inches. You could do it in inches. I will try and give you the measurements in inches if you're interested, but otherwise I'll be giving you all the measurements in centimetres. Okay, I have got another bauble that I will hopefully come on and share with you tomorrow, which is this one. Again, I'll make it in the other papers so that you can see the difference. These were my 2 sort of prototypes to make sure I could do them properly. So they both hang up. They will both hold things, because they do open up, and there's room inside to put a small gift or some chocolates in, and you can hang them on your tree. Okay, so they're not that difficult to make, but they do take a little bit of time, so I'm only going to do one at a time. So today I'll be doing this one. Also, I thought, instead of doing my usual videos next week, I'm going to try and do, for the next 2 weeks, I'm going to be doing some Christmas projects. So I'll try and I'll do 4 each week, and one of them obviously will be the this bauble. That'll be the first one kicking off tomorrow, and then I'll go on from there. It'll either be some other cards, or it will be I'll do some fancy folds hopefully, and some more either decorations or gift boxes or something like that, so that I'll do a variety of things to do with Christmas things. So it'll be some Christmas themed things. So I thought I'd kick it off as well today, start with this one. So I'm doing two things at the same time. So we're doing a stepped up something. So we're going to be making a decoration, but we'll also be using the part of the suite that the papers that come with the suite that you can get if you are interested. Right, so we're going to use a piece of Night of Navy card for the actual base of the decoration, and the one, this is, I don't know whether you can see it, but this is sort of a very rough sketch of the template that you could get to. I will try and make one if I can. I might put this on my blog as well, and I'll try and put I'll put the template and everything on there as well. Hopefully I can get a link up there I'll make a mock-up of it and as a PDF and put that up there. Okay, right, so we're starting off with a piece of card, 21 centimetres, but only by 25. So I'm going to need to cut a little bit off. So I'm using my trimmer, and I'm going to cut it at 25 centimetres. Again, if you wanted to do it in inches, you could probably do it at 10 inches or maybe 10 1/4, and you could make where you score, instead of doing it 3 centimetres, you could do it at 1 1/4. So it'll be slightly bigger. You'll need, it won't be much in it at all, but you can do it that way. And then you would do it at 1 1/4. You would do it at 2 1/2, 1 1/4, 3 3/4, and then another 1 1/4 at the end. I think you might need to make it so that it was, I don't know, maybe 8 inches. I'm not sure. It might be slightly less. We'll see. Anyway, I'll try and work it out in centimetres, in inches for you, but at the moment I'm going to be using it in a centimetre because that's the way it was shown on the video by Heidi. So on the long side, the 25 centimetre side, you're going to score every 3 centimetres. So 3, then I'm going to turn it around, and then 6 centimetres, make sure it's straight, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21 and 24. And then on the shorter side, the 21 centimetre side, you're going to score it at 3, and then at 13, and at 18 centimetres. So you've got 3 centimetres at each end, and then you've got 10 centimetres and 5 centimetres, okay, between each of the scores. Before I do any more, I'm now going to do a bit more scoring, but all I'm going to do, I'm scoring from the top to that first mark there, and I'm going, you don't have to do this, you could just make a mark on the first score line every 1.5. Yeah, you don't want every 1.5 centimeters. You want to do it 1.5 centimeters in from this first score line. So ignore that 1 centimeter there. So you're going to do 1.5 centimeters or a 2.5. Miss this one. Do another 2. So I'll show you. It's easier. So the first one I'm going to do is 2.5 centimeters. So I'll do it on this side first so you can see, because I haven't got a lot of room. I'll put this down a minute. So the first one will be at 2.5 centimeters, and I'm going to go from the bottom edge to the first score line, and from the top edge to the first score line. So just to there, and at the top just to there. So I'm sort of, ooh, that's not half. It should be, that's half a centimetre. Ah, that's not quite half a centimetre. That should have been a whole centimetre, so it's not straight. Hang on, let me just get these. That should be a centimetre there. No. Yes, it should. So if that's a centimetre, I think it must have gone a little bit squiffy there, look. Let's check. The others are all okay. So then if that was 1, that should have been 4. Is that right? Yeah, the rest of them should be okay. So it was just that one, right? So let's start again. So this one is 1 centimetre here. So the next one is 2.5 centimetres. Then you miss the next one. So the next one will be, so we got 2.5. So this one should be 5.5. No. I'm not very good at this. 3. 2.5. 3. That's 5.5. Plus another 1.5. 5.5. 6. 7.5. That's not right, is it? That's 7.5. That's 7. So it should be 8.5. That looks about right. That, and I've just lost my scoring blade, just popped up. So again, just up to the first score line, and then again from the top to the first score line, and then 15.5, which will be about there. No, that's not it. That should be 14.5. And all I really want is that mark there. That's the only reason why I'm doing it. And then this one will be, if that was 3, this will be 4. So 1.5 there. So push that to there. 1.5 each side. There we go. Right, so let's go through this again. So we've scored these at 3, 13 and 18. So we've got 3 at each side. We've scored them all the way along at 3 centimetres from this side, and you end up with 1 centimetre left on this side. And then I've also scored down on the top squares at 1.5 centimetres in from the first score line, miss a block, another 1.5 centimetres, so halfway in each of the squares. Okay, now yeah, hopefully you can see where all the score lines are. I think you can. And what we're going to do, we're going to use, if you've got a steel ruler, or any ruler will do, but if you've got a steel edged one, that will be even better. And I'm going to use a scoring tool. If you've got one, that would be great. And I'm going from the top where that line comes down. You're going from that point there to the to the middle score line here. So just to there on that, from there to there. So we're just going to do a diagonal line from there to there. And I'm going to do, you're going to do all of them, but I'm just going to do them going across first. 2. You could, if you didn't want to do the scoring to come down, you could just make a mark in the middle of each of those alternate squares. It's completely up to you. But this, I thought this would be an easy way to do that. So, easier to see. There. So, I've done all of that side, and then I'm also going to do from the bottom mark here to this score line here. So I'm going to do these again, every other square. Don't worry too much if and you really want to make sure that they're nice and deep lines, because oops, that wasn't clever. Because you want to make sure that they're going to crease on those score lines, and you need them to fold nicely. There we go. And the last one on this side, and then I'm going to go to, don't do what I did. So I'm going to go to the first of those 2 score lines over there, just because I know that's where I need it to be. Right, now I'm going to go the other way. So we're going from the top again down to that middle score line, and then the next one. And the next one. And the next one. And then the other way, from the bottom to the middle one. And this one here. Okay, so now we've got all the scoring done. So you've got like an elongated diamond shape on 4 of the panels, and the other 4 are straight. They're not got any scoring in at all. Okay, before we do the cutting, I'm going to cut the paper, the paper to decorate it, and we'll put the paper on, and then we'll do all the scoring and cutting. So I'm going to use this sheet of paper, and I'm going to cut the paper, starting this side, 2.8 centimetres, so it's like 2 little marks before the 3, and hopefully I'll get it straight. There we go. 2.8 centimetres. I'm going to cut that. You're going to need 2 strips of, if it's 12 by 12 paper that you've got, because they're 30 centimetres and there's just not enough to fit on one sheet, just on one strip. You will definitely need 2 strips. So that's my first one. So we need 4 strips that are 9.8 centimetres. 1, 2. So you get 3 out of 1 strip. 3. And then you get 1 more out of the next strip. You don't actually use it. You don't have much wasted on with the DSP at all. So another one at 9.8. So then we'll have our 4 strips, and then the next ones are going to be 4.8. So you want 4 more at 4.8 centimeters. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so those are, I don't think I won't be able to work this out with inches yet, but I will work it out and I'll put it on either in the description, or I'll put it on in the comments perhaps afterwards. Okay, or I will do it in my blog. Right, so now we're going to stick these pieces onto the card. Now you're only going to be sticking them in the blocks that don't have any scoring, and the reason there's 2 separate pieces is because of this crease, and we want to make sure you've got a nice crisp crease there, so it's easier if you've only got 1 layer there to do. So we're going to stick all of these on now. I'm going to use some Tombow. So, because if they don't go straight, you've got a little chance to move them around. If you've got some wet glue, that would be best probably for this project. These will more or less just fit inside the score lines. There's hardly anything between them. Just make sure you've got them in the right place before you stick them down. Press them down, and then I'm not too worried about, I would like them to go in the same direction if possible, but I'm not worried about matching the patterns up. But that's that one. The next one, because they probably won't match up. So if you wanted them to, you probably could get them to match up, but it's completely up to you. But you'd have to spend a bit more time trying to work out. What you could do is do a 9.8 and then a 4.8 and then 9.8 and 4.8. Whoops, it's not on straight. Whoops, there we go, that's better. So it's completely up to you, and then they would follow on from each other. So if you wanted to match your patterns up, you could do it that way. But I'm not too worried. If you're using different papers, again, you can do them however you want to do them. If you've got a directional print, just try and match up the prints so that they're in the same direction. Other than that, I wouldn't worry about it too much. Okay, so the next one. Put that way around. Okay. This one. Yeah. And then the last ones. Last panel here, and then there we go. Okay, is everything, hopefully everything's still okay. Yes, hooray. Sorry about that. My daughter decided to phone me. She must have just arrived in London. She's gone to watch a Mamma Mia party experience thing tonight. So with three of her friends. So right, we've got this far. So I've stuck all of the paper on now, and now we're going to do some cutting. Oh, actually, no, we'll do the scoring first. Not the scoring, the creasing first. So we'll fold all of these. I'm going to just use my bone folder over the top of these just to make sure they're on nice and firmly and they're not going to come off. And then I'm going to fold here and burnish that. I'm going to do this one, just being careful where the design series paper is. And then the final one at the bottom. That's that one. And then I'm going to be careful because I want to make sure I've got the 1 inch crease, the 1 centimetre crease line straight, and get that one creased rather than the other one. There we go. Hopefully that's okay. And then these then. Oops. This one. And the last one. Yeah. Right, so all of the creases are done. I haven't done the ones in between, but don't worry about those for the moment. Now we're going to do some cutting. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to cut away this part here. So we're going to cut in a little wedge to the score line, and the same on the other end. Then you're going to cut across to the next score line, and you're going to cut this tab here, this square here, with the line through the middle. You're going to cut that one off. Just that square. Do the same thing on the other side. So you're going to cut across the score line, the one that's got the 2 halves in, and you're going to cut that whole square off, plus the extra little bit on the end. So you've got those 2. So now you've got a piece that looks like this. Okay. So you've got your panel with the diagonals on, without 2 ends on, and you're going to do the same thing. So we're going to cut up all of the ends up to the first score line, up to the first score line, and stop, up to the first score line, and again. Okay, and then we're just going to cut off all the tabs that haven't been. So the ones that have got the panels with the DSP on, you're going to leave those there, and you're going to cut off the ones without. So you're just going to cut them across and take them off. Okay. Then you're going to do the same thing on the other side, on the other end. So you're going to cut up to the first score line, and then you're going to cut these sections away, just the ones with the squares with the half that have been scored in half. Okay. There you go. So now you're left with that there. So hopefully you can see that. Let's just make sure you've got it all in. Should be just about there, hopefully. Maybe if I pull this down a little bit. There we go. Okay, so that's what you're left with now. So you've got the tab over here, and then you've got the 4 panels with the DSP on and 4 without. Okay, so now we're going to try and make these scores. Now what you want to do, you're going to push them away from you and just crease along it. If you've got a bone folder and you can make it nice and sharp crease, that would be even better. If you haven't, just use your nails and do it nicely, a nice and sharp lines, creases. So you can do that all the way along your diagonal lines. It does make it easier now you haven't got those end pieces on, which is why I thought it'd be better to cut those off first. I'm just going to push this down there and then crease in my bone folder. Same thing here, and crease. And this one here. Crease. You could use the side of a knife or scissors, maybe. Anything that's got a nice sort of edge to it. You don't want to be cutting it, obviously, not the sharp end of the scissors, but or the knife, just so that you've got a nice straight piece of something that you can press down with. So you're going to just do that all the way around, so the bottom and the top creases on those diagonal lines. This one here. And this one this side. And then the last 2. This one here. And this one here. This one just there. Right, so now all the creases have been made. The last thing we're going to do is, I did have this here. This, I've cut myself a piece of card that was 3 by 3, and I creased it in the middle, sort of halfway along at 1.5 centimeters each side, and then I cut a circle out of the middle, and this will fit onto my tabs just so that I can mark where I want to put. No, I don't want to do it on that end. I want to do it on the other end. Doing it on the one next to the long panel, because this is going to be the top. So I'm going to put this in the middle. Just put a mark, a circle, a dot or whatever in the middle. Now, I've got a hole punch, a small hole punch that I'm going to use. But if you haven't got one, you can just use a pokey tool, or you could use anything really that will make a hole, because that's what you want. I've got a crocodile which I'm using, but if you've got a small hole punch, anything will do. It's so that we can get the ribbon to be able to go through. So we're just doing the one end, not the other one, not the one with the short panels on, not that end. We're doing it at the one with the long panels on. Okay, and I'm just going to make a hole in the middle. There we go, and that's it. So, oops, just to where I can see, hopefully, the dot. So I don't know if you'll be able to see that. Try. Well, it's in the middle. Where the dots are that I made. So you can I made myself a template, but you don't have to do that. You can, I wouldn't do it by eye, because if you do, because you want to make sure they are all in the same place, because when you fold them over, your ribbon's going to be going through, and you want them to be in the same place as each other, so that you've got your holes in that. so the ribbon will go through. Right, I'm going to use some of the, I can find it, the blue glitter ribbon that comes with this set. Well, I was, if I could find it. Great. Got every other ribbon here but that one. You can use whatever ribbon you've got. No, that's it. There it is. You can reuse whatever ribbon you've got, but I thought this would look nice with this. So I think it's more of a coppery colour on the ribbon, but the glitter, but it will still look okay with this. So I'm just going to cut myself a piece of ribbon to hang it with, and I'm going to cut that across, and I'm going to tie it in a knot at the bottom. If you wanted to, you could, I'll show you, if you've got a different ribbon to this, obviously you can use it, whatever ribbon you've got. The thinner the better, really, or the narrower I should say, not thinner, because this is very thin. But if you've got a narrow ribbon, you could stick the two ends, I'll show you when we get to it, through if you wanted to, if the holes are going to be too big to hold it. So this is what I did with this one, but I'll have to take it all out to see, I think, that the knot is coming through. And what I did, because the holes were bigger than the actual knot, because the ribbon is so narrow, I stuck the ends of the ribbon to the underside of the first square. So I'll show you when we get there. Right, first of all, we're going to stick this part together. So I'm going to use Tombow again, and I'm just going to put it on this edge here, and I'm going to try and get it close-ish to the edge, but I don't want to go over the edge or go too right to the edge, because otherwise it might ooze out and then it'll be stuck to everything. So that's the only thing with the glitter ribbon. The glitter does come off a little bit. There's plenty on there, so it won't spoil it. But so I'm going to try and get as close as I can to that. It doesn't matter about the other edge as much, but there we go. So I put it as, whoops, all over my thumb. So now I'm sticking to everything. Right, so I've put it like that. So if you fold a couple of the flaps over, and then you're going to bring the other side over to meet it, and whoops, make sure it's straight, and make sure you see it's oozing out a little bit there, but it'll be fine. That's not too bad. So you want to try and get it as straight as possible so that all of these lines are meeting up. Okay, and I will just put my foam folder over just to make sure that it's nice and secure. So now you've got this together, we're going to do the bottom part of it first. So the one with the shorter panels is going to be the bottom. So you're going to try and push these sides in, and as you fold those bottom squares over, it all comes together and you get the nice shapes in each segment. Okay, so we're going to stick these together now. So we work out which is the front and which is the back, and we want the one with the join, which is this one, to be the back. So I'm going to put the two sides together first. So I'm going to use the Tombow again, just because it gives us a little bit more wiggle room. So I'm going to put those two and try and match up the squares as closely as possible. And you can just about get your fingers inside to hold it down. Don't worry about that too much. And then I'm still good. That's my back. So the back comes over first. I'm going to stick that down. So bring that in and push it down, and then the one from the front is going to come over last, so you don't have a join at the front. It's at the back, and you're going to push that one down. Okay, so that's that done. What you can do is turn it over, open this up, and if you've got something long like a ruler, or if you've got a bone folder, you can push that down to the bottom and just push it down. You have, I don't know whether you can see, but you have got like some sections that are sticking out a bit more, so just go between those sections to push down. Okay, so that's how you put the bottom of it together. Now, if you wanted to put something inside, I would put it in now before you put the ribbon on. But it's completely up to you. You could, if you wanted to, you could add a tag if you want to, but I think it looks quite nice as a decoration anyway. If you were making them for different people, then you could put a tag on so you know whose is whose. But they do come together quite nicely. So you've got all of the sections will go in just like that and fit together really nicely. So now we're going to put the ribbon on. We want the ribbon starting at the back. So that's the back one. So probably use I'll see, might need to use something to push it through with, because it's quite a wide ribbon and it's a very small hole. So I'm just going to push this through, or pull it through, and I've got, because this is a wide ribbon, there's quite a nice big knot there. So if you want to, you can trim that off a little bit if it's too big for you. So make it smaller, and that will hold in place. So that one goes over, and then you're going to just take it in turns to pull the ribbon through the other holes. Do the sides first, and the front will be the last one to go through. What you can do, could do as well, is you can cut another piece of the DSP to put on the top, but that's completely up to you. It would be a 2.8 centimetre square, and you'd have to put your hole in the centre as well. Now we'll go for this one over here, but again, it's completely up to you, but I think it looks quite nice without having the piece on top. I did do it for the smaller bauble, but I haven't done it for the bigger one, so I didn't do it for the bigger one. I think it'll be okay without. So this is my last one now. This is the front of the bauble, and the ribbon will hopefully hold it closed nicely, so you can just spread it out a little bit. As you can see, I've got lots of glitter all over me. It's not too bad. Whoops. There we go. So we have our bauble. I think that looks really nice. It's really effective. If you wanted to, you could make use maybe gold or a different colour, maybe the vanilla coloured paper. You could cut the triangles out of that to go into in these panels as well. But that'd be up to you. What I would do if it was me, I would cut the panel, the strip, and then I would mark it halfway and then do the same thing as I did there, but that will then fit in that section. So you cut your triangle from the bottom to the top and do the same thing with the bottom ones if you wanted to do those. But I'm not going to do that now because of the time. Maybe if I make another one, we could have a go at that. I could have a go at that. But if you wanted to do that, that's how I would go about doing that. So if you wanted to do the panels that go in the triangular triangular sections, cut the piece of paper, but then you'd have a lot more left, more scraps then, because you'd be leaving a lot of the sections that you cut away. But you could easily do that, and you could then put those in those sections there, and that would look really effective. But I think it looks really nice just like that. Let me know what you think. hopefully you think the same thing. Oh, thank you, Roz. Hopefully you'll be able to follow this and you'll be able to make your own. I'd love to see them. So that's what I'm doing. That's what I've done today. So it is sort of a stepped-up project using the DSP and the ribbon. Obviously, I've not used the stamp set or the dies for this one, but you could always put a label or something on there if you wanted to with one of the stamps from the stamp set on. But I just thought I'd pop on. If you used starry paper, you could use the stars shining brightly. That might look nice on there. But I think it would be nice. I like it like this. I think it looks nice and elegant, just like that. And that's the red version with the red and the green that I've done with a different paper. The paper I've used here, let me just check. I think I've used it for one of the other ones, the Shining Christmas ones. So this one that I've used today is, I think it's, oh dear, Shining Brightly. Yeah, Shining Brightly designs for this one. And the other ones that I used are this set of papers, which are called the Shining Christmas. And these are available as online exclusives. They're not available in a catalogue or anything. So you can find these in my online shop as well if you wanted them. And they're foiled. They're all, I think you've probably seen them before. You've got the holly and the berries. You've got the argyle. You've got this stripy pattern. That might be nice on one as well. And you've also got the little presents, and you've got Christmas trees, and the final one is the candy canes. So you could use those. And the colours for this are, I think, cherry cobbler, and they've all got patterns on the back of these. So they've all got different patterns, but they're a matte. They're not shiny on the other side. I think it's cherry cobbler and mossy meadow are the colours they've used for those. So I didn't use cherry cobbler for the card. I used real red, but you could easily, it looks just as nice with that. And I used some real red ribbon that I had as well in my stash. So those are the two different versions. You could make it with the green card. You could use mossy meadow, or you could use old olive. I don't think I would use garden green if I'm using this paper, only because it might not go too well. So the old olive would probably be the better one to use with this one. I have used pear pizzazz with this one when I made this one. So I thought it was a similar sort of green, so it wouldn't be too far out, because I couldn't find the evening evergreen, not evening evergreen, old olive. Oh dear, I am kidding. So, but you could use the cherry cobbler for this one as well, or you could use real red for the smaller one. So that's my version for my project for today. Hope you've enjoyed it and hope you have a go. And if you do, please post a picture down below and in the comments and let me know what you've done. I love seeing what you've made. And then tomorrow I will see you again with probably on YouTube rather than on Facebook, but I will post to let you know that it's there. Okay, but it'll probably be on my YouTube channel then instead of this one. So I will get on and start making the rest of my projects. Hopefully I will see you again soon. Bye bye for now.